I don't think people would be happy that housing is lower when everyone's lost their jobs.
Bjorn, after Brexit, we saw the UK housing market, it took quite a battering, and in July we saw confidence go down to just 5. And although now, this month, the data for August was released by the RIC survey, and we've actually seen a huge improvement. Confidence has gone up to 12. So does this mean that, maybe Brexit isn't all that bad for the housing market?
I think the lesson to be learned is that Brexit at the moment is still a theoretical concept. No new deal has been done. The housing market has a certain demand built in since the last couple of years. It looks forward a couple of years. It's more a long-term market, and therefore I think the bounce back in confidence is quite self-explanatory in that the demand was there, the economic factors were there, people need housing in the UK, there's a long shortage in the pipeline. And we see that in the results after the short term.
Yeah, and sort of touching on that, a lot of people are saying, Brexit isn't that bad. If you look at all the economical figures, they've recovered quite well. But as you said, it is still just a theory at the moment, and Article 50 hasn't been invoked yet. Do you think it'll be a much different situation once that Article 50 is invoked and negotiations do start?
I think you really need to split the city of London from the rest of the UK. We do a lot of work in the north of the UK where they've benefited. At the moment, a lower pound for the export sector, for the industrial sector. The economy is doing quite well there. Housing is doing very well. There's an 11-year shortage of housing in the Liverpool area, for example. London City will be a different question. Can they remain the gatekeepers to EU pension funds? Will they keep their regulatory framework? That is really a doom or gloom question for the City of London.
And there have been issues in the past, particularly in London, but also the UK housing market, with properties being overvalued, being so much more expensive than what the average person, the average person's salary. Do you think Brexit might also have an impact on the price of these houses? And do you think it'll be a good or bad thing?
I think we'd like to comment that, if London was to have a crash and the prices came down, it would be nice and all of this, but I think the reality is that the scenario that would cause that would not be good for the London economy. I don't think people would be happy that housing is lower when everyone's lost their jobs. In the rest of the UK, it's much more centric towards whether you're in the city or in a non-urban area. If you're in Manchester, if you're in Liverpool, then yeah, housing prices are growing quite fast, they're quite high. But in other areas outside Leeds, outside Blackburn, there's some beautiful growth areas, there's nice green areas that are being developed. The government's doing a great job with social housing and affordable housing. And I think the affordable housing and those areas are being developed nicely to not have such price sensitivity, and they're not as affected as the strong urban areas.
Okay, so to sum up, Brexit may be bad for the London housing market, but maybe not so bad for the north of the UK.
Absolutely.
Well, Bjorn, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us today. It was a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
That's all from myself and Bjorn today, but if you like this video, be sure to give it a like and comment on our website, dukascopy.tv.